Hey all, Michael, Black Snow Comics here. Today I'm going to answer one of the questions I hear the most, which is, why Black Snow? Why Black Snow Comics? How'd you come up with the name? What does it mean? That sort of thing. So I hear this quite a bit. Over the years, Black Snow's served a few different purposes. It's a title of comic books. It's a title of graphic novels. It's the name of the main character of those. Black Snow Comics is my self-publishing company. I've used it as a name online for different things, as a username. So it's stuck around for a long time. To really tell you why, we got to go back to the late 90s. So this is going to be a little bit long, but it's just sort of involved, I guess. So in the late 90s, I went to summer camp. If you've seen my comic day camp, it's kind of based on this time. It was a pretty influential time in my life. And one of the things that happened while I was there was I was hanging out with some friends and one of the cooler leaders at the camp, and we were just shooting the breeze, whatever, talking. And he asked me, what would your superhero name be? And just kind of like popped right in my head was Black Snow. It came kind of out of nowhere. It wasn't really based on anything. It wasn't like fleshed out. I didn't have any kind of reason to pick it. It just popped in my head. And I said Black Snow, and everyone kind of laughed and people commented, thought it was kind of cool. This is what I would have been like a young teenager, just to set the scene a little more. So that was kind of it for that, though. Just came up with the name, kind of came up with the image in my head already of a black and white dressed character, somewhat similar to the Punisher is what I was thinking at the time. So kept that kind of just in the back of my mind for a long time. Didn't really think about it, didn't follow up on it. I wasn't huge into comic books or anything yet, so it didn't mean that much, but that's where the very first instance of the name came up. So then a little later, this would have also, I guess, been in the late 90s, whenever Mystery Men came out. I guess you could look it up. I think it's probably like 99. So I saw the movie Mystery Men with my friend Alex, and after the movie, we were pretty inspired. We like to be creative and come up with our own stuff. We had like our own kind of band type thing. We had our own, we'd make our own little movies and stuff, just different things. So after we saw that, we were kind of inspired to write our own comic. And we sat down and we wrote Black Snow issue 1. And then we didn't really follow up on it, though. We just wrote it, we had fun, and forgot about it, basically. Didn't do much with it. Fast forward a couple years, this would have been late 2001. I was in a screenwriting class in my high school, and my group of a couple students, we did a short film about superheroes that was a comedy, and I had a lot of fun with it. One of the guys in my group was really passionate about comic books, told me a lot about them, got me more interested in them. And by the end of it, I was thinking a lot about what Alex and I had written, and I said, well, I want to work on that. So I went home and I just drew my own idea for what some of the characters would look like based on my memory. And granted, it had been a couple years, so this was like a little fuzzy, but I just drew what I drew, and I sent it to Alex, and he got pretty excited. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So we found the old script, read it, and it was really bad. We were both not like impressed with it at all. We thought it was pretty awful. So then we decided to rewrite it, and we came up with Black Snow as you can read it now, the way issue 1 turned out. Changed a few things, tried to make it a little better. Looking back at it now, it's still not like great, but it was definitely better than what we had written as early teens. But anyway, so there's Black Snow. So the name of the main character was Black Snow, and the name of the comic book was Black Snow, just like a lot of stuff like Spider-Man will be in a Spider-Man comic or whatever. So that's kind of the beginnings of it. Then I needed to, well, I didn't need to. At the time, we didn't own our own website. There were these old free websites called GeoCities, and we got one of those, and when I was getting it, I thought, okay, well, it's Black Snow is a comic, so I came up with Black Snow Comic. So it was geocities.com/Black Snow Comic, and as time went on, after a couple of years, GeoCities wasn't cutting it, and I think we knew it was fading away. So bought our own URL, our own website, and I stuck with the Black Snow Comic thing. Then we started to come up with some of our other comics, like Day Camp that I mentioned. And once we did that, I was kind of thinking like, well, it's called Black Snow Comic on there. It just seemed like natural to just say, okay, well, it's Black Snow Comics with an S, even though the website didn't have an S at the time. Now I own both of them. I've been using Black Snow Comic for so long that the Black Snow Comics is better and more accurate, but it just forwards to it. And if you look at my social media, sometimes I use Black Snow Comic, sometimes I have the S. I think on Twitter I don't have the S, just because I started it so long ago, back before I really thought about branding and having multiple comics and all that. But basically, that was it. I did a little nod to it. The logo used to have kind of flashing letters, and the S would like blink on and off when you went on the website, is kind of a nod to the fact that the S was there sometimes and not other times. But basically, over the years, I've tried to come up with maybe a little more reason behind the Black Snow name and its meaning, besides just some kind of impulsive thing that popped in my head as a young teenager. And I've tried to like build on it a little. Black Snow, and a lot of my art is black and white, so I think of Black Snow as kind of referencing that, because obviously snow is white and then we're describing it as black, so there's that. I found some, if you read Black Snow 2-drink minimum at the end, I put kind of a description of Black Snow that I had found that I thought was pretty good, so that added a little something to it to attribute. But I've also tried to think of like snow is pure, but if it's a black snow, obviously there's impurities to it. And a lot of what we've tried to do with the comics, especially with Black Snow, is talk about kind of the duality of this guy, where he's a pretty bad guy on the outside, but on the inside he's got some good qualities and that kind of thing. So I like to think that it has a little more meaning now with those type of ideas. But basically that's it. So how did I come up with it? It's just some kind of silly impulsive name that popped in my head. Later, when Alex and I wanted to work on something, I remembered it and suggested it. He liked it. He helped build the character. I'm not gonna say like I didn't create like everything about the character, and he came up with a lot of the other characters and stuff, so I don't want to make this sound like it was solely me. At this point, Black Snow Comics is mainly, it's pretty much me. Alex will contribute from time to time. Hopefully we're going to be working on another graphic novel together and doing another Black Snow. But as it is, Black Snow Comics is me. It's my self-publishing. It's my handle on lots of social media things, and it's just a cool name, I guess. So that's the story behind Black Snow. I hope you liked it. You weren't bored to tears. Let me know if you have any other questions you want me to cover in this type of video format. And until next time.